Welcome back here once again, folks, to another episode of Coach's Corner, brought to you, as always, by Joe Clemence, Keller Williams, Integrity Northwest. I'm your host, Paul Vold. I'll join alongside here this week, General Manager for your Granite City Lumberjacks, Brad Willner. Willie, thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show.
You know, a man of many hats that we have here with us on the program, but of course we'll talk a little bit about what you do and everything, but we got to take a chance to kind of recap the weekend from, your perspective. We'll take a chance here. Of course, a three-game weekend. First time we've had a three-game weekend, and probably, if not the beginning part of the season, of course, now getting ready for the playoffs too. 2-1 over the weekend as well. You take that loss against Alexandria 3-2, but bounce back 8-2 Saturday against Willner, and then bouncing back, of course, with that Sunday finale on the weekend, a 4-2 win against Alex as well. From the weekend that you saw as well, how did you feel about the weekend overall for the team?
Well, obviously, I think, we scheduled these three-game weekends to make it, kind of prepare our guys for playoffs. It's a three-game series for both of our rounds here in the West Division. So we schedule those, late in the year just to kind of get the boys ready for it. And I'm sure DJ was in there talking about it. Lose the first one up in Alex. Hey, it's a best 2 out of 3 series. You got to win the next one. You got to win tomorrow night, which they did in Willner, and then come in on Sunday. You got to win that game on Sunday to win the series there.
Right.
So, I'm proud of the guys, the way they came back, especially playing on Sunday. I wasn't up there on Friday to see them play or Saturday, but watching the game on Sunday, thought, the first couple periods, we were a little sloppy out there, but really proud of the guys in the third period to come back and secure that victory and get us, 1 point away from being on top of the division.
Of course, being 1 point just behind Rochester coming into this weekend as well. Big weekend. We'll talk about that coming up. But like I preluded here with our conversation, a man of many hats, not just the one that he's wearing right now, but of course, serving as general manager your first season, not being head coach, GM as well. You take one hat off, but you're still equally as busy, given a day-to-day, week-to-week kind of basis as well with everything that you've got going on. What really now, with focusing more on the GM side of things, do you see kind of as a kind of regular occurrence for you?
Well, it's funny because I tell DJ, I said, I'm doing everything that I did before,
right,
minus the coaching. So nothing really changed as far as what I'm doing, except for the, being on the ice with the guys and working with players, and then, being behind the bench. But here for every home game, getting the ticket window ready, getting stuff ready for the merchandise, printing tickets for, corporate groups that are coming in, printing the programs. But a lot of the day-to-day stuff is, just the business side of junior hockey with, bills and, setting things up, meals, working on our charitable gambling side. So that takes a lot of the time, and, it really kind of limits the stress to having to do all of that, plus be out there and make sure I'm giving a good effort behind the bench with, breaking down film and doing all the things that DJ and Eric do right now.
Of course, you still have the opportunity every once in a while, and a need should arise as well. Seen you back on the bench a couple of times this year too. I'm sure that's been kind of a nice change of pace too, to at least be able to have that every once in a while.
Yeah, it's fun to jump back on there and see it, but I'm not there every day on the ice with them during practice. So I just get out there and I just kind of roll the lines, roll the D. When I was able to do it and throw my 2 cents, towards DJ and let him make the decision, because he's the head coach right now. And it's one of those things when you're not there every day, it's tough to jump in there and harp on guys. So it's nice to be back there and just be a positive influence and, pump guys up and just kind of put your arm around them, say, hey, get at the next shift, and, not yell and scream at them, and, just have fun out there and make sure those guys are having fun.
Of course, another part too, with you still kind of being involved with the team, but not at the head coaching perspective too, has got to be dealing with, obviously, with player personnel, of course, with some guys that get called up to the NA, kids coming back as well too. You still have to deal with a little bit more, kind of that business side and helping these kids advance to the next level as well.
With that, it's basically passing the hat on. Like, DJ's kind of hockey ops now, so he's handling the moves up and down and sending players up to the NA for practice, and finalizing the roster. Obviously, I'm always here, so he always pops his head into the office. Hey, I got to talk to you about something. And, I give him my advice on kind of where I'm coming from and what I think is the big picture of our program. And, we're a happy family here, and, I'm sure I'll be back on the bench someday with DJ or with Eric, back out there if they need me. So I'm ready to get get the call if you need to.
Of course, and one call that we do have to talk about coming up here this weekend as well, big weekend, one that we look forward to every season as well here at home. Of course, not only being a parents' weekend as well, honor our billet families and everything, United Heroes League night coming up on Sunday as well. Of course, there goes a lot into it as well. We've seen, of course, the jerseys that hang up behind us as well, working with that organization predating United Heroes League back when it was defending the blue line as well. An organization that, the Lumberjacks have helped, of course, immensely over the years and given right back as well with, obviously special jerseys are going to be worn, but a lot more that goes into it with this weekend too.
Yeah, I mean, especially this weekend, just going through it. I mean, like looking at the jerseys and designing those goes back, probably 2 months, and working with our partner who's printing them, and kind of getting that ball rolling, having them come in. We're going to sew the nameplates on here this week, make sure everybody goes out with a nameplate. But it's a great program. It's a great opportunity for us to, raise some money for them and give back to those military families and to those kids that want to continue on in any sport. So it's a great weekend. We take a lot of pride in this one. And this will be our second jersey auction of the year. So something new for us that way too, having Smiles for Jake early and then now doing the United Heroes League. So we're excited for a big weekend. Yeah, and of course there's still plenty to look forward to with that. Obviously with the jersey auction is going to be taking place, but also lots more still to look forward to. Of course, we'll keep you up to date with everything going on with United Heroes League weekend coming up here this weekend as well. You can go to lumberjackshockey.com. But of course, don't forget action on the ice Saturday and Sunday this coming weekend as well. The Granite City Lumberjacks take on the Mason City Torals. 7:30 puck drop on Saturday, 6 p.m. puck drop coming up on Sunday as well. And again, Coach's Corner this week brought to you by Joe Clemence, Keller Williams, Integrity Northwest. I'm your host, Paul Vold, joined alongside General Manager for the Granite City Lumberjacks, Brad Willner. We'll be back here after a break with one of our player interviews. Welcome back here once again to Coach's Corner. Of course, brought to you by Joe Clemence, Keller Williams, Integrity Northwest. I'm your host, Paul Vold. Changing things up here, usually we have our player interview, but switching things up here, usually somebody that's behind the camera, but you've seen him at least once this season. It is the owner, proprietor, and facilitator of Bitstream Digital Media. That is Brian Lommel, joins us here on the show. Brian, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's fun being in front of the camera for a change.
Yes, it does have its own merit as well, of course. With everything that we got going on here, of course, we got the coaches show. Of course, we do have the broadcasts that happen on a regular basis. We've seen around the holidays, too, a lot that goes into, any sort of special video. You're kind of the guy that helps, make that happen as well. But with Bitstream Digital Media, there's been a lot of name changes, a lot of things that have gone over the last few years. But let's take it back to the beginning. How did you first come up with Bitstream? I know there's been a few different name changes. Yep. How did it come to be with Bitstream itself with you?
It just started, I saw I had a real job, if you will, 9 to 5.
Right.
And I finally decided at my young age to pursue my passion of video production. And I had noticed after Hockey Day Minnesota that we just didn't have a lot of coverage, especially for local hockey teams and whatnot. So we started streaming, and I sat down and brainstormed one night with my wife and came up with Bitstream. And originally we were Bitstream Productions, but now we're starting to do not only streaming, but video production. I do a lot of commercials for local businesses. And then we started a photography arm. So changed it to Bitstream Digital Media. But I got to say, my favorite thing that we still do every year is working with the Jacks. Yep. I mean, it's just such a pleasure, and we just love doing it every weekend. So.
And a big shout out to Donna as well. Like on the shirt right here, we do heart Donna in many ways too, for allowing, of course, with Bitstream to happen in the first place, with Brian being able to help us. She does a great job with camera work as well here during the games too. And that's one thing you kind of mentioned too with coverage of like local hockey teams, at least before the connection with Granite City. But really, how did that connection with Bitstream and Granite City come about?
Yeah, we actually met with the hockey board for Sauk Rapids Youth Hockey and decided we were going to do some youth games to help facilitate that for them. And Brad was on the board and happened to mention that they were looking for somebody to take over the broadcast. And I was excited because I had attended several games years before that. Yep. And thought, if I got a shot at this, I could really make it fun and make it interesting for the audience back home and even in the arena. So that's what we've tried to do over the last few years that we've been doing it.
I will certainly say there's been no shortage of anything when it comes to excitement. Pre-game intro, everything as well. There's a lot that goes into it too. I mean, compared to myself, maybe all I got to do is just show up and put on a headset. But with you especially, there's a lot that goes on during the week, before the game, during the game as well. I mean, there's a lot, just even getting everything up to the Low Crow's Nest area too, to even get us ready and get us on the air too.
Yeah, it takes a village. I mean, I don't do it by myself. You're very helpful. Eric Altena, the PA announcer, helps quite a bit. And then my wife, Donna, literally, I probably get here to the rink about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We try to be live by 5:30 is what NAHL TV requires. And we're always trying to add. One of the things I love about the team and one of the co-owners, John, he's always pushing me to do something new. So this year we've got the coaches corner, we've got the in-between period interviews. We're trying to do some on-ice things during and after the game, and it's just fun because what we're really trying to do is make it an experience for the viewers at home. There's a lot of parents that unfortunately are not able to attend every game for their son. So we try to make it as interesting and engaging, and we've had a lot of nice compliments, and it really makes it worthwhile. But yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. There's a lot of exercise going up and down that ladder.
Yes,
press row there.
Is, yes.
Yeah.
So looking at now with Granite City and obviously what you have with Bitstream Digital Media, where do you see it going down the road here? What do you want to see happen?
I want to continue, of course, with the Jacks and continue to push the envelope as to what we can bring to the audience there. One of my goals is to possibly start doing additional work outside of the St. Cloud, Sauk Rapids, Sartell area. But we're just kind of taking it in baby steps. We're now doing photography during the summer up in Sartell for the Baseball Association there. And so trying to not spread myself too thin, but also expand my horizons as we go. So.
Yeah, of course, we got a big weekend coming up here as well. United Heroes League weekend as well. Of course, Parents and Billet Night as well. That's right. Coming up here Saturday. Then Sunday, of course, is United Heroes League night as well, too. A lot more to go in that, too. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of things going on. And the coverage, like we did with Smiles for Jake, we're going to be all over the place.
We're going to be, now with the advent of wireless technology, we're able to be able to show, like we did for Smiles for Jake, be able to show the silent auction going on. They had some music, which was really exciting. Yeah. Just be able to, again, give those folks that are at home maybe so they don't feel like they're missing out if they're not able to attend. But yeah, it's so fun with these activities that we do. Not only are we kicking butt on the ice, but we're kicking butt for those folks that need help, like the Smiles for Jakes, the United Heroes, and so forth. So
yeah, of course, that is going to be coming up here this weekend. Your Granite City Lumberjacks, they do take on the Mason City Toros Saturday at 7:30, with Sunday being United Heroes League night, 6 p.m. puck drop right here from Miller at Buick at GMC Arena. But if you can't make it to the games as well, it's perfectly understandable. You can tune in as well on NAHL TV. Thanks to our friends like Brian, Donna, Jonathan as well with Bitstream Digital Media as well. Now it's my favorite part of the show. We get to do the rapid fire questions. Now, more of these were geared towards a player as well that we had originally supposed to happen, but that's perfectly fine.
And he got called away for work.
Yes, so that's perfectly fine.
Just so we're clear, I didn't...
we're not throwing anybody under the bus this week.
No, this week we're not... Well, we'll see. We'll see what the questions pretend.
Exactly. This is very true. I had to make a couple of runs on the fly here. So usually with a player, they have like some sort of pre-game routine. What do you do before you get to the rink, when you get to the rink, during the game? What's going on? What's one thing that you kind of consistently do?
One of the interesting things is I have a lot. You talked about Brad wearing a lot of hats. I literally wear a lot of hats. I love collecting hats. So there's always this pregame ritual of what hat am I going to wear? How did we do last time I wore the hat, and so forth. So that's one of the things. And then really the only ritual that I have is every game, and I probably shouldn't do this for my diet, but every game I go to the concession stand and I get one of their chocolate Rice Krispie bars, which are the bomb. And every time I've eaten one, there's been games where I've missed it and we've lost. So there's got to be something in there that I'm doing correctly. I'm not going to take any credit for the win, but
Right.
you know.
Next thing you know, there's going to be a box of those chocolate Rice Krispie bars in your car or something like that.
I'd love to be sponsored.
Yes.
So if anybody's listening, yeah, exactly.
Do you prefer the red or the white sweater with Granite City?
You know, and this is purely video-wise, I love the red because it's easier to white balance the ice and the lighting in here. So with the white, I can never tell if are the jerseys white enough or the ice white enough. Right. So yeah, it sounds like a total video geek answer, but that's. I think the red are sharp too, and just wait till you see the United Heroes ones. They are sharp this year. I can't wait.
They certainly are. I've gotten a little sneak peek. Can't wait to see them in action as well. I know you usually don't make it out to a lot of road games or whatever, but of the road games that you have made, what's one has been your favorite away rink that you visited?
Yeah, so first of all, I think it was a total blast going on the bus with you up to Breezy Point. Mm-hmm. We did a road show. We kind of made it up as we went along, and it was a lot of fun. Mm-hmm. It was kind of an lopsided game, so that was a little hard. But I got to tell you, going into the Alexandria rink, there's just such an atmosphere and such a rivalry there that it's just every time I step in there, it's like, okay, let's do this. And they do a nice job on their program, so I like a lot of the things that they do, and I think maybe they've copied a few things we've done and vice versa. So,
all right, time for some tough ones here. Just a couple.
Oh, those weren't tough? I thought those were the tough ones.
No, here's a couple tough ones for you. What's a hidden talent that you have that maybe people don't know?
I actually am I'm actually a music drummer. I have a drum set at home down in the basement, and my bucket list is always to I'd love to be in a cover band for 80s rock. Okay. So maybe someday when the video stuff doesn't pan out, but I don't think I'm ever going to be a rock star, but you can always dream, right?
Yeah, you certainly can. Did not know that. I have a little bit more respect for you now as a drummer. Final question for you. Who's a better goaltender, you or your son, Jonathan?
Oh, my. Definitely Jonathan. He has some natural abilities, some that he will not admit. That is, and I always, refer to the genetics that have been passed down from. No, he's not adopted. I saw that look on your face. But no, he's just a natural. I came from the old school goaltending where it was all stand-up, and I've adapted to the butterfly. He had a really good coach early on. But yeah, he's got a faster glove hand, and he's also 30 years younger than me. But yeah, it's fun. We get to play against each other, as you know, on Tuesday nights sometimes, and it's just I wouldn't trade it for the world. So
yeah, look forward to that and much more. Of course, don't forget Granite City Lumberjacks back in action at home this weekend. United Heroes League weekend coming at you Saturday and Sunday from Miller Buick GMC Arena. It'll be a 7:30 puck drop on Saturday, 6 p.m. on Sunday as well. Coach's Corner this week brought to you by Joe Clemence, Keller Williams, Integrity Northwest. For Media Mogul with Big Stream Digital Media, that being Brian Lommel, I'm Paul Volt. We'll talk to you guys next week.